Welcome back to another Big 3 review. My name is Weekly Shonen and I still don't have a tagline, so bear with me. Episode 999 is out and I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit overshadowed by the fact that 1000 is gonna come out next week. What did we get this episode, you ask? Actually, a few things. Most importantly, we got more tank unit screen time, which, if this episode's gag didn't drag on for way too long, then I would have enjoyed it as much as I did the first time when they went against Big Mom. But happy chopper means happy me, so I'll let it slide. I had a really hard time sympathizing with Momo in the manga, but the anime really hammers it on. So I feel now twice as bad as I did. Well, 2 times 0 is still 0, so I feel way bad for Momo now. You can just see him really crushed up in Shinobu's arms. He's really not ready for this lifestyle yet, and he shouldn't be. He's this fucking kid. Well, he's gonna have to be, right, if you read the manga. But Momo deserves the world right now, and he almost got it in the form of an imposter. Yamato shakes off ulti and drops in on Momo and Shinobu, and Luffy drops in quite literally at the same time just to co-sign Yamato before running off again, and it almost works. They were smitten by the idea that, she's Odin, and then they kind of realized that's not Kozuki Odin. They just were so stunned by hearing the name and hearing someone declare themselves as such that they kind of got it for a quick second. But they end up calling bullshit because, why wouldn't they? That's not Odin. That's clearly not the same person. There's a reference shot right in front of them. They might be temporarily gullible, but they aren't blind, We shoot back to Big Mom versus Brooke and Frankie, and I gotta say the confidence these two have in their ability is really refreshing because the fodder reactions are just starting to get boring. There's only so many times you can see Samurai and people on the field hyping up Big Mom's strength before it just gets old. Robin and Jinbei show up too. They come in for the clutch combo, which kind of separates her for the battlefield a little bit. Now that Big Mom's been temporarily disposed of, the numbers are here. And I know they're a legitimate threat, but they're like the anime equivalent to bullet sponges. They're not really interesting. They're just mindless. And I know we get a quick important detail from Big Mom before she gets thrown away about them being failed punk hazard experiments, but there's only 2 numbers I really care about. And the first one's Kunyu, and the second one has not been revealed yet, so moving on. Luckily though, Frankie's got something for these guys. Something so good, in fact, that it revives the tank unit from the dead. I don't know, it just never gets old seeing Chopper and Usopp get, excited about Frankie's experiments. The episode ends with Luffy looking up and realizing that yes, Roof Peace is upon us now. I know I said that on my first review 2-3 episodes before, but even if we don't get it for another couple episodes, we at least know that the rooftop is a thing now, and soon, eventually, we will get up there. Although I didn't like the Oars flashback taking up as much space as it did, I do like what it represents, because it used to take the whole crew plus the captain to get rid of a giant level creature, or an ancient giant level creature, and now it just takes 2 of them. Reckon it's one of the two of the strongest people in the crew, but they're not top 3, and I would put them somewhere in the mid tier, and it's just good that they can at least hold it down. Even though they can't take out a Yonko, they can at least temporarily get rid of her, and that's a big thing. It just shows how far the Straw Hats have come, not just in terms of power, but threat level. And I feel like next episode we're going to be reminded of that in great detail. Shut the fuck up! And now, Jujutsu Kaisen 165. Absolutely nothing happens. Yuji's right back to square one. And, he's even worse off now. But seriously, the last couple of chapters has really flown by. And I know we're getting a lot of detail every time Higurama talks or monologues or whatever, but, it seems to still just flow by really quickly. It's 1 page of a lot of detail, and then the rest of it is just action. I'm not complaining, it just means that for a shorter chapter review. We start with Higurama going full assault mode on Yuji, and it kind of reminds me of Toji here because he has the same similar stance as Toji had when he was stabbing Gojo. Even though he's going for the kill, he's still having a hard time because Yuji's just hard to put down with his physical prowess, right? He's a beast. No cursed energy, still the body or the host of Sukuna. Maybe that's part of the reason why he's so powerful. We've yet to get that confirmed, but I feel like that's gonna be confirmed. Some wonderful faces from Higurama too, though. I don't know if this is actually him making any faces or him being somewhat annoyed, but it's just still funny to see his natural face is that meh face, with a slant. I forget what the hell it's called, but we learned Yuji's cursed energy confiscation is actually a glitch in Higurama's ability. I wonder if that means Yuji can be subject to curse technique removal, so long as it isn't, him in the Sukuna form. Because it seems like there's a way around it, right? There's a way around these things. Yuji puts his brain to work again and asks for a retrial, but he's forced to plead guilty immediately because he's actually guilty, right? Higuruma already looks kind of shook by how strong Yuji is throughout the chapter, but he's absolutely terrified now. And like, that's the face of a man who doesn't even know how to feel right now. Like, his judge does, but he doesn't know what to like do with the information that he was just given, because obviously he knows about the Shibuya massacre. He wouldn't be in the culling game if he didn't know about it. But, you know, to see this kid who comes approaching you and, you know, acting all innocent, asking for your points, asking for your help and whatnot, and then you start fighting him and realize he's the reason why all of this is probably starting, it's gotta feel weird. He has to feel like either he's being played right now or, you know, something else is happening, because he's a little too smart to just, you know, react like fight fear with like just straight up anger or just like charging them out, right? Higuruma will probably have to ask Yuji why he committed the massacre to begin with, or just to ask him for some type of context. I'm thinking that's gonna be the turning point anyway. I feel like anytime he does decide to ask Yuji about what happened in Shibuya, Yuji's gonna explain himself and then express his guilt, and that's gonna be the thing that, you know, turns Higuruma over to the good side, or, you know, to the team, the allied. And now we get to the chapter of the week. Starts off with this despicable man called One For All. I hate the fact that he got his way. I really thought that, you know, Star was going to be saved in some way. If either not from death, at least from having her quirk stolen. And no, not at all. Didn't happen. He got everything that he wanted. Again, well, almost everything that he wanted, right? You know, he's able to take her quirk, but he's not actually able to use it. Thanks to Star, you know, implementing one last rule on New Order. You know, it's just going to cannibalize any other quirks that you have, and since One For All is the guy who stockpiles every other quirk, it's pretty much, you know, like game over for him. And it does, you know, show that, it does confirm that he's not going to be able to use the quirk. He's going to have to give it away. But, you know, if he's being cannibalized, if his quirks are exploding inside of him, how the hell is he going to actually have time to move? You know, it seems like he's just being blown up from the inside out, and there's nothing he can really do. I don't know, maybe all it takes is just like a slither of a second for him to get like a straight path to one of the pilots, and he can actually just go in there, give him the quirk, and you know, be good. But I guess the silver lining here is the fact that with Star's last move, she kind of guaranteed that New Order has to go to someone who doesn't have a quirk. You know, I doubt that One For All is going to be thinking, you know, in that way of just being considerate of like, let me make sure I give this to someone without a quirk. He probably doesn't care. He's probably gonna give it to the first person that he can get his hands on. But, you know, it kind of cements her in All Might's legacy as his scepter, right? Because she just made it so that the person who gets that quirk has to be quirkless, which is exactly what we got at the first episode of the series. Quick side note here, Shigaraki's actually pushing AFO away, which, I mean, that's a good sign, right? It means that he's not really accepting of his host body, or his body being used as the host. Or maybe, you know, his subconscious is just starting to reject One For All. Even though they have the same end goal, Shigaraki's just gonna stop fucking with him because he realizes the way that he's being used. Anyway, that's the end of the chapter. You know, rest in peace to Stars and Stripes, or I guess Kathleen Bate. But, you know, not a lot happened this week. Obviously, no. Plenty happened this week, but just in short form. You know, even there were a lot of double page spreads in My Heroes chapter. And, you know, there was a lot going on in them, but they still flow. Like, page to page, you read straight down of what's going on. It's not too much with the inner monologue. The only thing you really had to, you know, stop and think about is just the order, the process in which, you know, everything is happening, but still kind of flows, kind of easy to read. So, quick chapters. We like quick chapters for quick reviews, but, you know, that's me. My name is Weekly Shonen. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all that whatnot. And I'll put timestamps in the whatever, details in the whatever, you know, all that good stuff. Yeah, bye.
That's right, go crazy, 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 crazy, no crazy, no crazy, no crazy,